how to unleash our greatness? It is a great question. So how can we help people to do that?
I think that the people that are discovering how to unleash their greatness are people who have the mental resiliency and the courage to face failure, that you will fail your way to greatness. That most people allow their fear of failure, 80% allow their fear of failure to outweigh their desire to succeed. When you're willing to fail again and again and again, when you make up your mind to become unstoppable, when you make up your mind to become a no matter what person, then that will then give birth to a part of yourself that you don't know right now. And maintaining a spirit of optimism and challenging yourself and learning from your mistakes. Understand that the setback is a setup for a comeback. You have comeback power. As a friend of mine named Willie Jolly would say, that the things that you experience when you win. I used to be a state legislator in Columbus, Ohio. When I won a debate and got legislation passed, I won because of what I knew. When I lost a debate, I lost because of what I didn't know. And so now I had to go back to the drawing board and study harder to come back again and to challenge my opposition.
Yeah, it's amazing. And I would love to know, because you mentioned courage. According to you, can we develop that? Can we develop?
Yes, courage can be developed, absolutely. And there are things that will help you to do that by putting yourself in uncomfortable situations. Sometimes life will force you to become courageous. And so it's there that most of us don't develop our courage muscle. Case in point, that I've had the challenge, and I'm watching my languaging, of dealing with the fear of claustrophobia, of being closed in. And I had to have an MRI. And so I'd never had one before. So the first time I came, they had about 4 or 5 females in the room. They said, "Are you afraid?" When they opened the door, I looked at them. I said, "No." I was terrified. But I developed my courage. But the first time they closed the door, I started knocking and said, "Hey, let me out, let me out." And then I had to call a friend of mine to calm me down. And he said, "Les," he said, "cancer is a thief. Let them find it before it becomes a murderer." He said, "Focus on the outcome, not on the process." And so the way that I handle fear is I don't focus on what is it that's terrorizing me. I focus on what is it I want to accomplish. And I see myself achieving the victory. I see myself living from the dream, living from that place that I'm reaching for in my mind. Einstein said the imagination is the preview of what's to come. And so we can bypass the things that will cause us to be afraid by looking at and being focused singly on the things that we're going for.
Yes. And I would like to have your point of view about something. When people are setting up big goals, sometimes they have big fears in doing that. So do you think we have to keep or big goals, or we have to lower the goals, or lower the action, lower the comfort zone?
We're living in an incredible time that there's nothing that we can't do.
Yeah.
We're living in a time where we have, in our lifetime, seen someone go from prisoner to president of a country in South Africa, Nelson Mandela.
Yeah.
Where President Barack Obama, raised in a single-family household, an African-American male, became the most powerful man in the world.
Yeah.
So what we know is that anything's possible, and we must challenge ourselves. The only reason that most of us don't accumulate a level of achievement in our lives, one, most people end up aiming low. That's what I did most of my life. That most people fail in life, not because they aim too high and miss. Most people fail in life because they aim too low and hit. And that's what I did. I was a disc jockey. I was very satisfied. I achieved a level of professionalism and mastery in that area. And then someone challenged me and said, you can do more. And it took him 14 years to convince me to become this person that you now see. This person that you now see, this voice, which I consider my power voice, I had absolutely no idea that this person existed. But there are sometimes in life someone can take you to a place within yourself where you can never go by yourself. And he saw something in me. And sometimes you have to believe in somebody's belief in you until your belief kicks in.
And what do you say to someone who are saying, oh, nobody around me are believing in me.
And that's okay. If you have that, that's great. If you don't have it,
Yeah.
it's okay. I, for years, read books of people who I didn't know, but I considered them as my personal mentors. I studied Winston Churchill, who said, "The truth is incontrovertible. Malice may attack it, ignorance may deride it, but at the end, there it is." I studied Earl Nightingale, who said, "All of us get in life what we are, not what we want. All of us are self-made, but only the successful will admit it." So I studied these people, and they mentored to me. I feel their spirits. I surrounded myself in my bed with their books and their audio, in my imagination, and listening to their audio programs. Yes. So how much does the library card cost? It's free in the United States. I don't know what in your country. So I suggest that you spend time working on yourself. Study the high achievers. I did that to find out how did they get there. I studied the life of Frederick Douglass, who said, "We won't get everything that we fight for, but everything we get, it will be a fight." And so as you study these people and imagine yourself in their position, and in your mind's eye, say to yourself, as I did, if they can do it, I can do it. They put their pants on one leg at a time. They breathe air just as I do. And so I believe that what you focus on the longest becomes the strongest. What we think about, we bring about. When you train your mind to serve you by reading a minimum of 20 to 60 pages a day, listening to audio programs, writing goals down, reading them 3 times a day, you're literally creating a new mental blueprint and imagining and seeing yourself already living from the goal. You begin to do some things that most people look at it and see as magical.
Yeah, it's great. And do you advise to read a lot of biography?
Yes, I love to read the biographies of people because I wanted to know what is it that helped to develop their thinking, their character, their philosophy, their whole approach to life. What are the things they went through? What are the things that challenged them? What are some of the things that I can learn and glean from their life that will help me to get to that next level? It's very informative to look at the whole person as opposed to a slice of their lives.
I want to make a difference for youth. Do you think it could be a powerful idea to help youth to read biography?
It is very important that they read biographies. Yeah. I did that as a young person, absolutely, because I was I'm a twin, and so my twin brother was always held up in my face, and I was taunted. I was called the DT, the dumb twin, and so I wanted to prove that I was not dumb. It just takes me longer to learn things than most people. And so I read the autobiography of Malcolm X, of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., of Winston Churchill, of people that I admired, of Paul Robeson. And by reading and studying their careers, it gave me some clues. Success leaves clues, and so it gave me some keys to things that would become a part of my life that would help me to become successful in the area that I had chosen.
At the beginning of your journey, did you had believe that the fact that you are black could be a disadvantage at the beginning?
At the beginning, I thought that would be a factor for me. My mentor said, "Les, don't focus on your paint job. Focus on where you're going." Once again, keep your eyes on where you're going. It became a factor in a variety of situations, but to my advantage. And what I mean by that, it gave me a strength and an advantage to motivate and inspire audiences. When a Tony Robbins or a Joel Osteen or a Brian Tracy, a Jack Canfield, Mark Victor Hansen, these are my friends, go into a primarily white audience, and 99.9% of my audience is Caucasian, and say, "You have the power to live your dreams." People look at them and say, "If he can do it, I can do it." But when I come in and say, "You have greatness within you. You have the power to live your dreams," they look at themselves and look at me and say, "If he can do it, I know I can do it," and they leave their running.
Yeah.
So that's an advantage I have.
You can either live your dreams or live your fears. And I think the majority of people actually are not living their dreams, but are living their fears. So I want to ask you a question. What are your fears? What are you afraid of? What are you scared of? Because we all have fears, don't we? We all have something that's blocking us, that's holding us back. And as we begin to look at life, what we realize is that the reason that most people are not living out their true potential, are not doing all of the things that they would really like to do, is because of fear. Some people call fear false evidence or expectations appearing real. I'm reminded of the story of a guy that was living in an area where he had some new neighbors, and these neighbors had a bulldog. And when he came home every day, this bulldog used to chase him about a half a block from his house. Every day, he would have to streak home. I mean, he would just run. This bulldog would be right on his heels. And so he just got tired of that, because he would go home about a half a block away from home. He would look around for this bulldog, and he would see him, and he would go walking casually along, and this bulldog come out of nowhere, woo, and start chasing him. He'd run home. So this one day, he just got tired. And so when the bulldog was running after him, he started running. He saw a rock, and he stopped to pick it up to throw at the bulldog. And when the bulldog got up on him, he started barking. He realized the bulldog didn't have any teeth in his mouth. Then he started chasing the bulldog. If you don't get all away from it, because the most the bulldog could have done is gum, you know. And so, you know what? Most people go through life running scared. Running scared from things that have no teeth in them, because they're false expectations appearing real. That, see, we're brilliant enough to scare ourselves to death. You realize that? There are some people actually who get a kick out of scaring themselves to death. I remember the last frightening movie I saw. It was The Exorcist. I will never forget it. I was so frightened when I came home. I'll never forget. I drove in the driveway, and I had already called my former wife and said, listen, turn the lights on. I was coming in the driveway, and I was getting out of the car, and all of a sudden I couldn't get out. I started blowing my horn. I said, Madeline, they got me, they got me. She came to the kitchen and said, take your seatbelt loose, fool. I said, oh, okay. I was frightened out of my wits. But there are a lot of people who they get off on that. They love it. I'm a person, my brother is a paratrooper. My twin brother, he's in the military, career man. I would love to jump out of an airplane to parachute. I'm scared though. I mean, I really admire my brother for that. I would really love to be macho man like that. What are the things that you fear that's been keeping you from living your dream? That's been keeping you from doing some things that you would like to do? Just think about those things. And how do we begin to handle that? Abraham Maslow said that the life is about growth. And he said you can either go back to your comfort zone, and there you won't find any growth, or you must be willing to go forward and face your fears again and again and again. Because you're never going to have a fear-free existence. I mean, some fear is acceptable and legitimate. There are some things that you really should be afraid of. Now, you shouldn't allow it to immobilize you. You acknowledge it, you take it into account, and you carry yourself accordingly. There are times that we should proceed with caution. But it's the difference between being stopped by fear. It's the difference between having a fear and the fear having you. So what do? One, acknowledge it. And knowing that it's okay. Don't condemn yourself for being afraid. It's perfectly fine to have some fears. You acknowledge your fears, you embrace those fears, and then you move on. You act on whatever it is that you fear. Because once you embrace it, see, what you resist will persist. What you resist will persist. So one of the most important things is to begin to embrace your fear.
And so I'm going to share some thoughts and ideas with you. And I just want to make it clear that as I share these ideas, just be open to the possibilities. And I must let you also know that, God has a sense of humor. I'm 70 years old and I have hot flashes. Seriously, I'm going through a decancering program and I have hot flashes. I travel with a fan and a blanket. I call them power surges. So at any time you see me perspiring a lot, I'm a Mickey Mouse fan, have a Mickey Mouse watch, and this is my little pat myself down, when I start perspiring. You know, you got to have a sense of humor. Let us say together, have some fun. Yes. Now, the other thing is that I want you to think about 3 major goals that you'd like to achieve. Something that's important to you. I'm thankful to this industry. I'm thankful to Eric and Marina for the work they've put together, because were it not for this industry, I would not be who I am before, who I was. I would not be the person that I am now. Because of this industry, people like Glenn Turner, most of you never heard this name, Dare to Be Great, Holiday Magic, Best Line Products, Bill Bailey. Because of this industry, doing presentations, talking to people about a dream and how they can begin to step out of working for someone else to work for themselves. I had no idea that my life would be where it is right now. I don't know you, but here's what I know about you, based upon my own experience, that you have something special. You have greatness within you. Here's what I know about you. There's certain kinds of people who say yes when they're presented with this opportunity, because this is not for everyone. This is not for the faint at heart. This is for people who have goals and dreams that they want to achieve. When I became involved in this industry, that's where I was. I was born in the poor section of Miami, Florida called Liberty City, with a twin brother in an abandoned building on a floor. When we were 6 weeks of age, we were adopted by Mrs. Mamie Brown. I feel like Abraham Lincoln, who said, all that I am and all that I ever hope to be, I owe to my mother. And my mother, she worked on Miami Beach. She cleaned homes, and she kept children, and she cooked for families. We ate the food left over from the families that she cooked for. These people very kind and generous. They said, Mamie, whatever food is left over after we eat, you can pack it up and take it home to those children that you have adopted. She kept their children, and we wore the hand-me-down clothes of the children that she kept. And as a kid, I remember walking around these big, beautiful mansions and, Mama, what is it, Leslie? When I become a man, I'm going to buy you a big, beautiful home, just like this. How many ever have someone in your life that you want to do something special for? Raise your hands, please. Very good. I'm going to share with you how you can make that happen. And I want you to think about goals in your personal life, and I want you to think about your financial goal. What is it? I want you to think about that financial freedom number. How much money do you want to earn that as a result of your earning that, it alleviates a lot of stress? As a result of earning that, it allows you to become debt-free. As a result of earning that, you'll be able to contribute to causes that you believe in, and be able to take care of family members, and be able to have more time for yourself and your family. I want you to think about your financial freedom number. Now, people say money won't make you happy, but everybody want to find out for themselves. Friend of mine, Rita Davenport, said money ain't important, but it's right up there with oxygen. And let me tell you something, fellas, even if you're as homeless as I am, you got some money, women will find something cute on you. Oh, my boyfriend got eyelashes like Denzel Washington, honey. You know, he's got earlobes like Tom Cruise. I used to be so broke, I'd walk past the bank and trip the alarm. Creditors would call the house, and my children would answer the phone and say, my daddy said he ain't home. Oh my God. Being broke is a trip. So I want you to think about your financial freedom number. Everybody right now, as you think about it, hold up your right index finger. Good. You don't do anything else, do this. Now put it in your ear, put it in your ear. And just listen to me. I just want you to listen to me. You have something special. You have greatness within you. You have the ability to do more than anything you can ever begin to imagine. There's an entrepreneur in you. You have million-dollar ideas, billion-dollar ideas in you. There are people waiting to hear your voice. You have a vision of yourself doing more, achieving more, taking care of your family, making your mark, leaving a legacy. You will never be stressed or challenged financially. You were born to be rich. You know that it's in your DNA. You were born to be successful. Take your finger out. And the reason I wanted you to do that, I didn't want to go in one ear and out the other. As you think about your goals, ask Wesley and I, which one am I, on the right or the left? Left, I'm the Cuban, of course. That's my beginning. I share this with you because I want you to say something with me, with power and conviction. Let us say together, it's not where you start, it's where you're going. There's some of you here who cannot afford to be here, but there was something in you that said, I can't afford not to be here. And you've got here, you showed up. There was something in you that said, I've got to make this happen. There's something in you that said, there's a bigger life waiting for me, calling my name. There's something in you that says, I'm on my way to a greater life. Give yourselves a round of applause. Yes, 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 yes. And whoever brought you in the business, make sure you find them and say thank you, because they saw something. They saw greatness in you. They saw something. They saw that it factor. There's something in you. There's another part of yourself that you will never discover unless you align yourself with positive, motivated people who have goals and dreams beyond working on a job where they pay you just enough to keep you from quitting, beyond you're working just hard enough to keep from getting fired. There's something in you that says, I'm not going to go through life allowing somebody to control my financial future. There's something in you that says, I'm not going to work at a place where I have to go and ask for permission when I can go on vacation. There's something in you that says, I'm not mentally fit to work for somebody for the rest of my life. Give yourselves a round of applause. Yes, yes. And think it not strange when you have goals and dreams that you'll face the fiery furnaces of this world. Do not be surprised that family members and friends and people who should be there to encourage you and to motivate you, that they will try and discourage you. They'll call it a pyramid scheme or some kind of get-rich-quick scheme. People who can help you out and want to help you out because they know too much about you. And they don't believe, they can't see this new you. Don't allow those negative naysayers, the people who are suffering from possibility blindness, to stop you. Had I listened to them, I would not be standing here. Had I listened to them, I would not be traveling around the world, living my dreams and not my fears. There's something in you that says yes to your life, yes to a greater future. Give yourselves a round of applause. Yes, yes, yes. And as you think about your goals and dreams, your personal goals, your financial goal, and whatever that number is, I want you to multiply it 100 times. And I want to warn you, don't ask yourself how you're going to do it. How is none of your business. My favorite book says, lean not unto thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy path. There are things you can do that you don't know right now. So don't worry about how. That's none of your business. And I want you to think about your financial contribution, but also your legacy. What will be different? This stage of my life, I'm training and teaching people how to tell their story, how to make a difference in the lives of others, how to become an effective communicator. How many would love to do that? Raise your hands, please. It makes all the difference in the world, teaching people the techniques and strategies that I learned that allowed me to build an organization with hundreds of thousands of people. This stage of my life, I'm 70. Don't I look good for 70? Come on, yeah, absolutely. And And I don't use mascara. I don't use dye to cover my hair because of the fact that I have an allergic reaction to dye. But I do use mascara. My kids say, "Daddy, you look distinguished with your gray hair." I said, "At 70, I'm not trying to look distinguished. I'm trying to look young." Sometimes, Tony, you got to hook this up. You know what I'm saying? Oh my God! Yeah, people say, "I can't believe he's doing that." Now you're gonna need a paintbrush. You're gonna need a. Let me tell you. I gotta tell you this. I had to give this speech in the Georgia Dome called "It's Not Over Till I Win." In fact, you just emailed me. Go to lesronmotivation.com and you can see it free. So anyhow, at the end of my presentation, somebody was there and said, "Mr. Brown, our speaker canceled on the last minute." Said, "Do you have enough energy to give another speech?" And I said, "No, I'm tired." He said, "We can pay your full fee." I said, "The Lord is able." You know, Red Fox said, "Money can't buy you happiness, but it can make a big down payment," you know? So they took me over to the Georgia World Congress Center, Kim, and when I looked in the room, people were very close to the stage. And I said, "Can I go to the restroom for a minute?" They said, "Yes." I went to the restroom and I took my mascara out. I was sweating and perspiring, getting it all touched up. And so when I came in the room, the lady wanted everybody to know that she knew me. She said, "There he is, Les Brown." And I walked up on the stage and she kissed me on the cheek. And I kissed her on the cheek and left this big black smudge on her face. I didn't know what to do, so I just sat down. So the people down front started saying, "There's something on your face." And she looked at me, she said, "What are they saying?" I said, "I don't know." Finally, one nosy lady came on there, opened up her purse, gave her a mirror. Well, nobody asked her to do that. Getting in the Kool-Aid, don't know the flavor. She looks at me, she said, "How did this get here?" I said, "I don't know, you think maybe this rubs off?" So afterwards, when I kiss you, do not be alarmed. I now use waterproof Mademoiselle, all right? A brother's got to do what he's got to do. So I want you to think about your goals and dreams, your personal goals, your financial goals, growing your organization, recruiting more people, developing your skills as a communicator. I want you to think about your social contribution. Part of what I'm doing is teaching people how to tell their story, but also teaching people that you are more powerful than cancer. I'm a 19-year cancer conqueror because of God's grace and mercy. I think the doctor should never tell someone they're terminally ill. What they should say is, "My knowledge and ability to help you has terminated. Now you need to explore some other options." At this stage of my life, I'm training people how to work with young kids. How many of you have children? Raise your hands, please. I'm teaching them how to develop their mindset, how to become effective communicators, how to begin to dress like a prospect and not a suspect, how to select friends that's an asset to them rather than a liability in technology, how they can begin to use their skills and talents today rather than going out beating the pavement looking for a job. Teach them how to learn how to develop their own personal economy by doing what you're doing right now. And I believe that we can create a different future for our children when we work together to create communities of collaborative, achievement-driven, supportive relationships. And that's what you're doing here now. That's what Eric and Marina wanted to do. Creating communities of collaborative, achievement-driven relationships. And as you think about your goals and dreams right now, let us say together, it's possible. Yes, say it again, it's possible. See, preparing to come up and speak to you, that was not challenging. But let me share with you what it took me years to do, was to believe that I can do it, given my circumstances. Born abandoned building on a floor, being adopted, if both my birth parents stood up now and said, "Hello, son," I would not recognize either one. Being labeled mentally retarded when I was in the 5th grade, and put back from the 5th grade into the 4th grade, and failed again when I was in the 8th grade. Being raised in poverty, how you live your life is a result of the story you believed about yourself. And so being in the environment where I was born, that was my reality of being poor. I was stuck. How many of you have been stuck? Raise your hands, please. And so, as entrepreneurs, as leaders, let me share with you what it is you do and the power of speaking. Write this down. Distract. See, when you, as an entrepreneur, when you present the business, don't go in just trying to sell people on the business. No. What your goal is to sell them on a new story. How people live their lives as a result of the story they believe about themselves. When you show up, you do what Mr. Washington did for me. Write this down. You distract them from their current story. I'll never forget the gentleman I eulogized a few weeks ago when I first met him. He said, young man, go to the board to work this problem out for me. I said, oh, sir, I can't do that. Why not? I'm not one of your students. Look at me. Yes, sir. Go to the board and work the problem out anyhow. I can't, sir. Why? And the other students started laughing. He's DT. He's a twin. His brother's smart. His sister, she's smart. But he's DT. What's DT? He's a dumb twin. And I said, I am, sir. As the students laughed, and he came from behind his desk, he looked at me. He said, don't you ever say that again. Someone's opinion of you does not have to become your reality. And so that was a turning point in my life. On one hand, I was humiliated, but on the other hand, I was liberated. Because he looked at me with the eyes of Goethe, who said, look at a man the way that he is, he only becomes worse. But look at him as if he were what he could be, then he becomes what he should be. And so when you approach someone about this business, what you're doing is you are interrupting their current story. And when they come to an opportunity meeting, or when you make the presentation of what the possibilities are and how they can change their financial income, you're dismantling their limited belief system and begin to allow them to become, as Mother Teresa would say, inspired. Distract, dispute, and inspired to become like a pencil in the hand of God and start writing a new chapter in their lives. You're selling them a story of hope. You're selling them a story of possibility. You're selling them a story of controlling their own personal economy. Give yourselves a round of applause. Come on, bring your energy level up. And that's what we do as entrepreneurs. That's what you do when you make a presentation. How important is that? That's major. That's major. More people died, according to the CDC, last year from, listen to this, suicide than from traffic accidents. People have lost hope. When you speak, you're giving people hope. When there's hope in the future, that gives you power in the present. When you speak with conviction, when you speak strategically and tell the story of why you said yes, tell the story on how you saw this opening up the door for a new life for yourself. Is it easy? Of course it's not easy. It's challenging. It requires patience. It requires persistence. It requires a willingness to do whatever is required to create a new life for yourself. Give yourselves a round of applause for giving people another shot, another chance. And see, I didn't do what I'm doing now for 14 years because I assumed I couldn't do it because I had never done it before. There are people who can tell you no. They're living off an assumption. They assume because they've never done it before they can't do it. Or they assume because they've been involved in the business before and things didn't work out, and so this won't work out. I didn't do what I'm doing now because I assume because I don't have a college education. I assume because I had to compete with people with PhDs and MBAs. I assume because of my lack of education, I could not compete. How many of you ever decided not to do something based upon an assumption? Raise your hands, please. And so that's why it's important for us to be strategic and experiential and being able to tell the story to distract them from their current story, distract, dispute, break down the limited belief system, and inspire them to say yes to a new opportunity in their lives. And so as a result, I didn't do what I'm doing now because I had such a tremendous inferiority complex because of my lack of college education. I stopped myself. There's an African proverb that says there's no enemy within, the enemy outside can do us no harm. And so as you look at yourself, as you look at your goals, look at your dreams, it's very important that you take time every day and write this down to retrain your thinking. You got to retrain your thinking. Because how we live our lives is a result of the story that we bought into. I had to retrain my thinking because of what I saw. Studies indicating that the decisions we make in life is directly related to the things that we saw, the things that we experienced, the conversations we've been exposed to between age 0 and 5. And so as a result of that, my experience, I had to begin to engage in a process of retraining my mindset. And I didn't even know what I was doing. But this man, Mr. Swiderski, I'll never forget. Leslie, come in here. Yes, sir. Look at my shoes. You can shine them better than this? I do apologize, sir. I'll do a better job. And his wife said, please don't yell at him like that. That's not nice. He's just a kid. He's only 10 years old. He should do a better job than that. He can. I said, it's okay, Mrs. Swiderski. And he should have yelled at me. He was a very rude, arrogant guy, but he was a kind guy, too. What I loved about him, every day he had a routine. It was his time in the morning he spent working on his mind. And I wanted to be in the office as he was shining his shoes, listening to Earl Nightingale. All of us are self-made, but only the successful will admit it. Listening to Dr. Dennis Waitley, people form habits and habits create futures. Listening to Zig Ziglar, if you give enough people what they want, they will give you what you want. Listening to Jim Rohn, when the end comes for you, let it find you conquering a new mountain, not sliding down an old one. Listening and reading the words of Winston Churchill, the truth is incontrovertible. Malice may attack it, ignorance may deride it, but at the end, there it is. Reading from my favorite book, Be Not Conformed to This World, Be Transformed by the Renewing of Your Mind. Listening to these words help to create a different vision for myself. Some of you are already doing it right now. I'm saying this is a time more than ever that you want to begin to inoculate yourself with positive words, coming to conventions, showing up on meetings, being on the calls, to make yourself unstoppable, to get out of your mind the polluting negative thoughts that's causing most people to go through life being stuck because they're volunteer victims. Somebody said that many people die at age 25 and don't get buried until they're 65 because they got so much garbage in their minds. You're here because you've got a clear vision of what you want and where you're going. Give yourselves a round of applause. Come on, bring your energy level up. Yes. Yes. You want more. You want more. You're different. You're different than everybody else. Don't worry if they don't get it. Don't try and convince people to do this business. A person convinced against their will is of the same opinion still. You are not like everybody else. You can walk outside and find pigeons, but if you're looking for eagles, it's going to take you a minute. You are different. It's lonely at the top. How many of you know it's lonely at the top? Raise your hands. It's lonely at the top, but you eat better. That's what I'm talking about. You're different. One great entrepreneur said, I choose not to be a common man. It's my right to be uncommon if I can. I seek opportunity, not security. I do not wish to be a kept citizen, humbled and dulled by having the state look after me. I want to take the calculated risk, to dream and to build, to fail and to succeed. I refuse to live from hand to mouth. I prefer the challenges of life to the guaranteed existence, the thrill of fulfillment to the still calm of utopia. I will never cower before any master, nor bend to any threat. It's my heritage to stand erect, proud and unafraid, to face the world boldly and say, this I have done. You showed up because you're building a business that you can stand and say, I did this. I did this. This is my dream. Give yourselves a round of applause. Yes, 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 yes. Yes. There's something in you that wouldn't allow you to stop. Dr. Howard Thurman He said there's something in each and every one of you that waits and listens to the voice of the genuine in yourself. It will be perhaps the only guide you will ever have. And if you cannot hear it, all of your life, your days will be spent on the ends of strings that somebody else pulls. And I say to you, the reason you showed up, even though you couldn't afford to be here, the reason you drove hundreds of miles, flew around the world, there's something in you, in your heart of hearts, that said, I'm not going to let anybody pull my strings. It said, I'm going to control my own personal economy. It said, I've got a dream I want to achieve. I want my children to have a choice of the kind of education that they want. That said, I am the captain of my ship. That said, I'm going to control my destiny. And whatever it takes, I'm willing to do the work. Give yourselves a round of applause. 1961, President John F. Kennedy had a decision to make. The decision was whether or not to call a news conference and tell the world the United States was going to go to the moon. And I submit to you that the decision to do that is very risky. And what governed his thinking is what governed your thinking when you decided, I'm going to do this. See, the technology did not exist. The answer, what will it take, did not exist. No one had ever done it before. But he made a decision. He looked at Wernher von Braun, the most brilliant scientist of that day. And he said, Wernher, what will it take for us to go to the moon? And he spoke 5 words. And those 5 words, I think, is what governs most entrepreneurs. Those 5 words, I think, is what gives people like you the courage to pursue their dreams. Those 5 words is what I think people who are pioneers, people who are breaking new ground, make decisions on. He said, what will it take for us to go to the moon? And the response was, the will to do it. As you look at yourself, as you look at your business, as we look into 2015 and beyond, what will it take for you to increase your business? The will to do it. What will it take for you to become more powerful in your presentation skills and be able to increase the number of people, to quadruple your business? The will to do it. What will it take for you when others are quitting because of the rejections, when others are stopping because they just become so discouraged and they have creditors breathing down their neck and they have family members and friends telling them they're full? What is it that will allow you to have the mental resiliency to keep on keeping on, to keep your commitment to your commitment? The will to do it. Every time I say it and ask you a question, I want you to say the will to do it. What will it take for you to build your business? What will it take for you to increase your recruiting? What will it take for you to bring out the greatness in you and to make your mark? What will it take for you to become a high achiever and to bring out the billionaire in you? Shake someone's hand on your right and left and say, I've got the will. I've got the will. Mr. Washington, this man who taught me, he said, Mr. Brown, you want to make it in life? He said, number 1, develop your mind. You don't get in life what you want, you get in life what you are. Number 2, develop your communication skills. Once you open your mouth, you tell the world who you are. 3, practice the principle of OQP, only quality people. Let us say together, only quality people. as you think about your goals and dreams, this is not for everybody. You want to build an organization with only quality people. Not people who need more, but people who want more. You want to surround yourself with people that are hungry. People that are hungry are willing to do the things today others won't do in order to have the things tomorrow others won't have. People that are hungry do what they know, not what they feel. See, I didn't do this for years because I knew it would be hard. And Mr. Washington said something to me. Mike Williams, my mentor, you want to go online and find his book, The Road to Your Best Stuff. He said something that grabbed me, and I want you to put this someplace where you can see it. See, you build this business through persistence. You got to affirm, I will persist until I succeed. You build it through patience. It takes time to grow orchids. It's faster to grow roses, but orchids, that takes time. You have to have persistence, you have to have patience and perseverance. It takes courage to come back again and again and again. Because in order to build the business, it's hard work. It's H-A-R-D and H-E-A-R-T. Are you with me there? Write this down. If you do what is easy, your life will be hard. But if you do what is hard, your life will be easy. If you do what is easy, point out all this is some pyramid scheme. Oh, I've been talking to people and nobody's interested. I talked to people and they said no. Well, I've done that before. Come up with excuses. If you do what is easy, always looking for a way to give yourself a pass, to let yourself off the hook, to do what everybody else is doing, a job, the journey of the broke. If you do what is easy, your life will be hard. People working the jobs that they hate, The heart attack rate on Monday morning between 6 o'clock and 10 o'clock increases by 35%. People going to jobs that they hate. If you do what is easy, your life will be hard. Working 2 and 3 jobs for one paycheck and no job security. But there's something in you that says, you know, I'm making some good money, but you know what? I can't do this. I can't do this anymore. A friend of mine, she's here. I'm so honored to be in her presence, Kim Wee. She went to do a presentation, drove from Los Angeles to San Francisco, and 20 people in the room, and they said, yes, she's an electrifying speaker, great presenter. Yes. And when she left, the Dream Busters took the floor. And when the Dream Busters finished with those people who had goals and dreams of a new life, they sabotaged Kim. And they called her before she can get home and said, no, we're not going to do it. And at that moment, she could have quit.
All right, I don't know. What would you say to anyone? Do you have any, like, let's say, steps or just some nuggets that you can share if there's someone out there that's listening, that's trying to achieve a goal? What are some of your steps to achieving goals?
Well, if we look at where we are today, because things have changed dramatically from when you read Live Your Dreams in 1992. I've just completed my new book called You Gotta Be Hungry.
Oh, awesome.
Yes. You got to be hungry, unleash your greatness. And so when you said that today, I just cracked up. I said, oh my God, that means I'm on the right path. So the key to it today is, one, is the kind of platform that you've established, mindset transformation. As a man thinketh, so is he. As he continues to think, so he remains. Dr. Carter G. Woodson said, if you can determine what a man shall think, you never have to concern yourself with what he will do. He said, if you can make a man feel inferior, you never have to compel him to seek an inferior status, for he will seek it himself. And if you can make a man feel justly an outcast, you never have to order him to go to the back door. He'll go without being told. And if there's no door, his very nature will demand one. And so mindset transformation, it's an ongoing process. The next thing that's very important is to upgrade your skill set. And that this is the era of the 3 C's: accelerated change, overwhelming complexity, and tremendous competition. So you want to find at least 3 areas that you master, that you do that extremely well. I train speakers how to tell their story. And so I can teach them how to become a global voice. And in addition to speaking and training speakers, I also know how to tell a story. I know how to present with power. I know how to speak with my power voice. I've got a training coming up in December called Discover Your Power Voice and Master Your Cash Flow. So by my speaking and my training speakers, and the next thing that I'm able to do, I can sell a product. I can sell a concept. I used to be a salesperson for Sears. And so through my skills as a speaker, as a trainer of speakers, and as a person who can sell presentation power to make a point, to bring out the best in people, or to sell a product, those are 3 areas that allows me to control my personal economy. So the average person, if they are serious about learning how to control their destiny and controlling their own personal economy, they have to be engaged in continuous, ongoing processes to upgrade their knowledge and their skills. Knowledge is the new currency. We're going toward a time that's called the end of work, that because of technology, over 20,000 jobs, according to the Department of Labor, being lost every day. So we're going toward a time where the majority of that jobs will be done by artificial intelligence or robots, and that's not too far away. So the key is that as you look at yourself, look at your goals and dreams, work on your mindset continuously, which will give you the courage and the mental resiliency to weather the stormy times that we're going to go through in life invariably. Continuously expand your skill set. Robert Schuller said, you either expand or you are expendable. Right. And create a community of collaborative, achievement-driven, supportive relationships. By doing that, collaborative, achievement-driven, supportive relationships, whatever goals that you have, you can reach a minimum of 87% of those goals by transforming your mindset, increasing your skill set, and having a team of collaborative, achievement-driven, supportive relationships.
Wow, that's really good. That's really good. So you're spending most of your time, is that what I'm hearing you say? You're teaching other people how to grow their platform?
I train people who are serious. I don't work with everybody. I'm 74, you know, so with the time that I have left, I want to work with people that are hungry.
Hungry.